This is Terry Kurtz online reporting on Victor Valley, High Desert, and Mojave River Valley events, activities, entertainment, and history. California's new laws for 2026 bring changes in consumer rights, workplaces, schools, and even grocery stores. Beginning January 1st, stores will only be allowed to distribute recycled paper bags to customers at the point of sale. This change follows the state's 2014 ban on single-use plastic bags. Stores may charge a minimum of 10 cents per paper bag. New consumer rights give car buyers a 3-day window to return a used vehicle for a refund. The 3-day no questions asked policy is for cars under $50,000. And for renters, landlords must equip apartments with stoves and refrigerators starting in the new year. In the workplace, there becomes expanded employee leave for crime victims and collective bargaining rights for transportation network drivers. The statewide minimum wage increases to $16.90 per hour for all employees. The hourly rate has been increasing every year since 2023. State law requires the Finance Department to adjust the minimum wage each year along the Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners. The $16.90 is a new statewide rate for 2026, up from $16.50, with exceptions for fast food workers. They get $20 an hour, and some healthcare roles. Public schools will implement new policies limiting student phone use, and ultra-processed foods will be phased out of school lunches. California's new Phone-Free School Act requires all public schools to implement policies limiting student phone use by July of 2026, aiming to boost focus, mental health, and academics by restricting phone access during school hours. Schools will decide how, with options like full bans, phone hotels, or phone-free zones, with exceptions for emergencies and specific needs. Qualified high school graduates will automatically be admitted to a California State University campus for the 2026-2027 school year without having to apply. Under this program, eligible students will automatically receive letters notifying them they have been directly admitted to California State University campuses based on their academic records. These are only a very few of the new laws on the way. All in all, we will see nearly 800 new laws take effect in the Golden State in 2026. We find it interesting, if not amusing, to look back at new laws about to take effect this time 1 year ago, and how many actually affected you in a positive way. Cannabis cafes, expanded outdoor drinking, an end to a banking fee. These are among the roughly 1,000 new laws hitting California in January. The state is allowing more on-street alcohol sales and food in cannabis lounges. Supporters say the laws will increase Central City foot traffic, which has yet to fully recover from the COVID-19 pandemic. One issue receiving a great deal of attention from lawmakers involves retail theft, specifically smash and grab. New laws allow for stricter penalties, including one creating sentencing enhancements for selling stolen property valued at $50,000 or more. Another law increases penalties for car break-ins and auto theft. It also creates a new crime for possessing stolen property taken during a vehicle theft or unlawful entry of a car. Californians who try to withdraw money but don't have enough in their bank accounts won't fall deeper into a financial hole from having to pay a fine thanks to a new state law. The law covers instances in which banks charge customers when their withdrawals are declined instantaneously, such as at ATMs, because of insufficient funds. Assembly Bill 2017 applies to banks and credit unions that are regulated by the state. Proponents call penalties for insufficient funds junk fees and say getting rid of them will protect financially vulnerable consumers. In another consumer protection measure, businesses that defraud consumers sometimes pay a couple of $1,000s in civil penalties under current California law, or they will be ordered to pay millions of dollars but then close down or declare bankruptcy, leaving their victims without compensation. This new law will help change that. It will establish a restitution fund in the state treasury that can be used to try to fully reimburse consumers. Assembly Bill 1366 will let the state attorney general pursue disgorgement or repayment of ill-gotten gains in cases where companies violate unfair competition or false advertising laws. The money recovered would go into the new fund. The new year is shaping up to be a confusing one for Californians unlucky enough to buy a new or used car that turns out to be a clunker. As of the first of the year, car buyers who purchase a faulty vehicle will have to navigate a new version of the state's lemon law that for 5 decades has given consumers the right to demand car companies fix or replace defective vehicles they sell. That is, unless lawmakers quickly pass a law that allows some of the car companies to opt out of the new requirements. The confusion stems from a law the governor signed in September after the bill was hastily jammed through the legislature in the waning days of the session following secret negotiations between lobbyists. The governor said it was important to address the problem of California's courts getting clogged with lemon law cases, even as critics said the bill significantly watered down consumer protections. The governor said he signed it only after lawmakers said they'd introduce legislation to make the reforms voluntary for automakers, legislation lawmakers say they've already introduced. But now it's anyone's guess how long it'll take the bill to make it through the Senate and the Assembly and get the governor's signature. California has become the latest battleground over voter identification requirements, a long-time conservative priority newly propelled in recent years by complaints of election fraud. Under a state law that takes effect in January, local governments across California will be prohibited from compelling voters to present identification to cast a ballot in an election. Democrats resist ID requirements, which they argue disenfranchise young, low-income, disabled, and non-white voters without providing any real benefit because they believe there is not widespread election fraud. Supporters of mandatory voter identification believe it addresses growing public concerns about election integrity. We begin this online report with new laws taking place in the Golden State in 2023. New traffic laws taking effect in California address the rapid changes of our current era, laws governing mobile phone alerts and e-bikes, and stiffening the penalty for street racing sideshows. Another law aims to impede the theft of catalytic converters. The catalytic converter law specifically lists who can sell catalytic converters to recyclers and requires those recyclers to keep documentation such as the year, make, model, and copy of the vehicle title from which the catalytic converter was removed. Drivers involved in sideshow activity, exhibition of speed, or speeding over 100 miles per hour, which result in a fatality, could now be charged with vehicular manslaughter with gross negligence. parking lots, and off-street parking facilities are now included as locations where it is a crime to engage in a speed contest, exhibition of speed, or sideshow activity. A new online marketplace law requires the Attorney General's office to create an online reporting system for users of third-party online marketplaces to report listings of suspected stolen items. The reported information would be available to local law enforcement and the CHP's Organized Retail Crime Task Force to assist with investigations. Pedestrians can now walk outside the lines when crossing the street, free of restrictions against jaywalking. E-bike riders may now use certain paths, trails, and bike lanes while requiring drivers to make way. Add yellow and feather to amber, blue, and silver alert programs. A yellow alert. This law allows law enforcement to request the CHP activate it when a fatal hit-and-run crash has occurred. Local media outlets are encouraged to disseminate the information and seek the public's assistance to improve the ability of law enforcement to solve fatal hit-and-run crashes. The new Feather Alert allows law enforcement agencies to request the CHP to initiate an alert when an indigenous person has been kidnapped, abducted, or reported missing under unexplained or suspicious circumstances, and specific criteria has been met to permit alert activation. These are but a few of 2023's new California laws. Let's flash forward and get back to developments in the good year 2025. Area crime fighters worked overtime during the holiday shopping season, conducting smash and grab dragnets between the 4 weeks from November 30th through December 20th. Investigators from the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department, Gangs Narcotics Division, Rancho Cucamonga Station, San Bernardino County Probation Department, Homeland Security Investigations, California Highway Patrol, and the San Bernardino Police Department conducted retail theft operations in the area of the Rancho Cucamonga shopping corridors, making 54 felony arrests and another 111 misdemeanor arrests while recovering over $70,000 in stolen property. In addition, 168 traffic stops yielded 16 traffic violations. It was back in November of 2023 the County Sheriff's Department became concerned with the rise in thefts at retail stores, which often involved organized crews that conspire to commit robberies, burglaries, shelf sweeps, and vandalisms. These violent criminals terrorize the citizens of the county by utilizing intimidation tactics and a mob mentality that creates an unsafe and uncomfortable shopping environment for our residents. In November of 2024, California voters passed a proposition entitled the Homelessness, Drug Addiction, and Theft Reduction Act. That proposition took effect in December of last year, 2024, and reformed multiple laws which have been responsible for increasing homelessness, drug addiction, and theft. Here is one of our favorite good news stories of the year. One of the county's finest, a furry one that always wears a collar, collared a national award. Canine Keva received the national award from the American Kennel Club. Canine Keva is a certified scent tracking dog assigned to the Rancho Cucamonga station. The award is for canine excellence for outstanding service in the Uniformed Services Canine Dog category. Canine Keva, a bloodhound and handler, Deputy Gabriel Jasso were recognized for their exceptional performance in scent tracking operations, including locating missing persons, supporting critical search and rescue missions, and assisting in criminal investigations across San Bernardino County. Keva and her handler, Deputy Gabriel Jasso, began working together when she was only 7 to 8 months old. She has been with the department for 2.5 years. She had her first successful deployment and find at only 8 months old, locating a missing elderly man. The San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department has been awarded a $1,114,000 grant from the California Office of Traffic Safety. The grant will support ongoing enforcement and education programs to help reduce the number of serious injuries and deaths on county roads. This funding will target enforcement operations in such areas as speeding, impaired driving, and distracted driving, specifically drivers in violation of California's hands-free cell phone law. DUI checkpoints will be increased, and enforcement operations focused on the most dangerous driving behaviors that put the safety of people biking or walking at risk, and motorists demonstrating behavior that causes crashes, speeding, failure to yield, stop sign and or red light running, and improper turning or lane changes. The grant, roughly the same amount received in 2024, funds these programs through September 2026. Evacuation alerts for winter storms, flooding, mudslides, and the anticipated wildfires during fire season prompt this reminder to have an emergency go bag prepared and readily available. Emergency go bag essentials for survival and evacuation include water, non-perishable food, a first aid kit, medications, flashlight, essential documents or copies thereof, cash, hygiene items, a multiple tool like a Swiss Army knife, and a change of clothes, plus specific needs for children and or pets. Everything packed in a sturdy bag for quick grabbing. Key items focus on 72-hour survival: food, water, blankets for shelter and warmth, sanitation items including Kleenex and toilet paper, cell phone and charger, and a radio and extra batteries for all battery-powered devices. The San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department has launched the Blue Envelope program, partnering with local chiefs of police, the Inland Regional Center, and the Inland Empire Autism Society. The Blue Envelope program assists individuals who experience communication deficiencies and or have disabilities that are not easily recognized, and provide them with tools necessary to effectively communicate with law enforcement during interactions. The program enables individuals to easily present the law enforcement officer with a blue envelope which could contain the person's identification, emergency contact information, and essential vehicle documents like registration and proof of insurance, as well as handwritten notes on how to communicate with the individual. In addition to the blue envelope, there are other items available which display the Blue Envelope program's logo an individual can use to identify their participation in the program. Participation in the Blue Envelope program is free, entirely voluntary, self-managed, and does not involve registration. For further information about the Blue Envelope program and where participants can pick up Blue Envelope products, visit the website shown on the screen. The most recent Community Service and Reentry Division's Homeless Outreach Proactive Enforcement Team's Operation Shelter Me activity located 31 individuals experiencing homelessness. 25 individuals received referrals to assistance programs. 4 individuals were linked with follow-up professional services. Operation Shelter Me connects the HOPE team staff with unhoused residents, offering them housing, medical, and mental health treatment services. A recent off-highway vehicle enforcement operation saw over 1,200 contacts made, dozens of citations issued, and a handful of arrests made as authorities addressed the ever-growing problem of illegal and unsafe off-road vehicle use in areas throughout the county. The one-day large-scale operation was conducted by the county sheriff's multi-jurisdictional Transit Operation Division to apprehend operators of off-road vehicles who trespassed, failed to use appropriate safety equipment, or drove without a license. 84 citations were issued for registration violations, helmet violations, driving without a license, and other off-road and traffic-related offenses. 3 arrests were made, 1 stolen vehicle was recovered, 4 vehicles were towed for various violations, and 5 criminal reports completed. The activity took place in half a dozen locations, including Juniper Flats, Deep Creek Spillway, Deep Creek Flood Control Channel, and Holcomb Valley. Sheriff's Department Transit Operations Division reminds all who want to enjoy our off-road areas to do so responsibly, safely, respectfully, and in legal off-road vehicle areas.
And one more flashback.
What's the word for 2016? Your High Desert Metro News starts now.
This is High Desert Metro News, your first choice for news, reviews, and local information.
Terry Kurtz here, welcoming you to this TGIF edition of your High Desert Metro News. In fact, our final newscast. Until next year, thank you for joining us. We have spent a great deal of time this week reviewing the good year 2016 and previewing the new year.
The Blue Cut Fire, the top story of the year. It began on the Blue Cut hiking trail in the San Bernardino National Forest on August 16th amid triple-digit temperatures and high winds gusting up to 30 miles per hour. The fire took a week to be contained and forced evacuation of an estimated 86,000 residents, including those in Wrightwood, Pinion Hills, Summit Valley, Oak Hills, and parts of Hesperia. At least 105 homes and over 200 other structures were destroyed, among them the historic Summit Inn. The Blue Cut Fire ranks as the 20th most destructive wildfire in state history. Contrasting the destruction of landmarks,
We've been happy to announce a number of new arrivals to our Victor Valley business communities, some that come to mind the past year, from Pieology to Krispy Kreme, establishments that go a long way toward putting our towns and cities on the map. And in terms adverse to many, Adelanto emerges, the marijuana capital of the West Coast, as civic leaders there welcomed commercial cannabis while kicking out the city's minor league baseball team. I've been asked, what are the top trends of the year? And I've stated the top 3 are Donald Trump, Donald Trump, and Donald Trump. The 2016 presidential election was unprecedented in at least 3 ways: the nature of the winning candidate, the absolute inaccuracy of polls, and the inability of the mainstream media to effectively manipulate voter preferences and, in that way, dictate the outcome of the election. Other unmistakable trends of the year past include the Pokemon Go phenomenon and Major League Baseball's world turned upside down, landing in Chicago's north side, the Chicago Cubs winning the World Series. To some, that was surreal. Mariam Webster has announced that surreal is its top word of the year for 2016. The American publishing company, best known for its popular dictionaries, said the decision was based on 2 simple criteria. The word has a high volume of lookups and a significant year-over-year increase in lookups on the website merriam-webster.com. Merriam-Webster, which has been announcing a word of the year since 2003, defines surreal as marked by the intense, irrational reality of a dream, and pointed to the way its use in news coverage was followed by spikes in lookups, the terrorist attacks in Brussels in March, as well as the coup attempt in Turkey and the terrorist attack in Nice in July. But the largest spike in searches occurred after the U.S. presidential election in November, when the businessman and former reality TV star Donald Trump defeated the heavily favored candidate, former State Secretary Hillary Clinton. The word deplorable also spiked after Clinton used the adjective as a noun to describe what she said were great swaths of Trump's supporters. We have spent the week highlighting the top local sports stories of the year. None was bigger than the final chapter in the storied history of the High Desert Mavericks.
The Mavericks end their storied existence in storybook fashion, #1 going out, same as their first year starting out, winning their 4th California League championship in the team's 26-year history. The operating procedure, very standard in terms of the formula for success and victory. One big run inning offensively, supporting excellent pitching, particularly by the bullpen. A come-from-behind victory to top it all off, sending High Desert Mavericks riding off into the sunset as Cal League champs, as they had done in 1991, 1993, and 1997. Manager Howard Johnson's young team won the Southern Division first half title and swept through the postseason, winning their last 6 playoff contests, crowning themselves champions with a 7-4 victory over Visalia in one lasting act of triumph in the final game of Mavericks' existence. Here it is, the final pitch, the final out for High Desert Mavericks baseball. The ground ball to shortstop Michael De Leon, to first baseman Carlos Arroyo. The Mavericks are 2016 champions of the California League. Skipper Howard Johnson tells KVVB-TV's Tim Harris it was a total team effort and a tremendous accomplishment for the core of youngsters who had won the league championship at Lower A Hickory the year before.
Unbelievable team win for sure all year. The guys played good in spite of probably us coaches getting in the way.
The symmetry of what High Desert accomplished was impossible to miss, as bittersweet as it was. After taking home the title in their inaugural season in 1991, the Mavericks bookend their 26-year stay in High Desert with a 4th and final league championship.
For the 8th year in a row, it appears that those polled and those who cared enough to answer agreed. Whatever is the most annoying word ever. In a telephone survey of more than 1,000 adult Americans, just over 38% of those surveyed want people who abuse the word whatever to know that their use of the word is categorically annoying. The survey, conducted by the Marist poll, reports other contenders in the list of annoying words and phrases include "I can't even," "huge," and "no offense but." Among others, as for whatever, the official meaning of the whatever doesn't do justice to its typical and presumably annoying use. Mariam Webster defines whatever as anything or everything that, or no matter what. In those particular cases, whatever should strike no ire or annoyance. It's actually quite useful, allowing for the existence of a number of situations or preferences, perspectives, and circumstances. For example, whatever you do, don't sit on a tack. But it's the most typical abuse of whatever that qualifies it as not only an annoying word, but also one that should inspire dire consequences for repeat offenders. Well, I tend to think the annoying aspect is an attitude of apathy, as in the case of someone responding to your concern with a rolling of the eyes and whatever. Well, I for one would like to see diminishing returns in "no problem," although I don't find anything disrespectful nor insincere in it. I just seem to hear it too much. Like when I say "thank you" and I hear "no problem" instead of "you're welcome." And that brings us to this close in this last edition of your High Desert Metro News for 2016. And I'm entirely sincere when I say we appreciate you watching tonight, and we thank you for being with us. We wish you happiness, good health, and safekeeping this New Year's holiday weekend. We certainly look forward to bigger and better things in 2017 as we extend our hopes for your peace and prosperity in the year ahead. From everyone at KVVB TV Channel 33 and your High Desert Metro News, Happy New Year.
High Desert Metro News is a production of KVVB Television, serving the Victor Valley and surrounding communities. Like us on Facebook or on the internet at www.kvvb.tv.
That's a wrap on this edition of Terry Kurtz Online. On behalf of Victor Valley Television Productions, thank you for watching. We hope to see you again next time around.